I thought Jack was bad. This guy might actually be worse. The board ran a rigorous process considering all options and unanimously appointed Parag. What that really means is no good executive wanted to run Twitter and come in from the outside. Why? Because this thing is an absolute basket case. 25 million to like 30 million daily active users in 4 years. That's not growth. That's called flat. Someone that would love to be called a tech monopoly, but is very far from being a monopoly, and that is Twitter. You know, of course, I've been railing on how Jack Dorsey is a horrible CEO on Twitter for years. He's developed and cultivated an even worse management team underneath him, which has prevented Elliott, their activist investor, from running a proper process to replace him as CEO. Talked about that a bunch too. But anyway, of course, I take one of my first international trips ever now since COVID, and I land, and then boom, Twitter has now come out with the news. Jack Dorsey is stepping down as CEO of Twitter. That was the first news that broke Monday morning. And I was thinking about all of you. I hope you were thinking about me too, but I was thinking about all of you and saying, God, I wish I could be doing a WTA right now. So the news broke before the markets opened. CNBC had the report that Jack was going to step down. So they closed that Friday before that Monday at $47 a share. Okay, $47 a share. Boom, markets open. Twitter's up 10%, actually a little bit more. Up here, 51.88, opens at 51.88. Right? Pops, boom, over 10% on the news that Jack Dorsey is stepping down. Because why? He's a horrible CEO at Twitter. Done an abysmal job. Abysmal job. Now that he's gone, everyone likes to rag on him. I've been ragging on him, appropriately so, for easily years now at this point. Look at this chart. Twitter's daily active user growth, basically lack thereof in the United States. Look at the blue line. It's basically flat for like 4 years. You know, they have like from 25 million to like 30 million daily active users in 4 years. That's not growth. That's called flat. All their growth has come international. See the red line from like 80 million in 2017 to, 175. So it doubled. Great. Bad news is you can't really sell that much ad dollars to all these international users. Eyeballs that advertisers want to get in front of are the blue line, and the blue line ain't growing. If anything, they're probably playing a bunch of funny games with this blue line. I wouldn't believe much of this blue line if I was an investor. Blue line's flat. That's where all the money comes from. Red line's going up, but you don't really get much in money, but it's a nice headline number to say, yeah, look at all of our daily active growth. Oh yeah, it's all from international, not in the United States where it actually matters. Jack Dorsey, horrible CEO. One of honestly, the most important things about being a good CEO is what? Succession planning and cultivating the right management team underneath you who can take your place when you ascend. 51.88, it opens. From the news, CNBC, boom, Jack Dorsey's going to step down. Everyone goes, yes, thank you, Twitter gods, for freeing us from this horrible leader. Then the bad news hits. The markets then start to learn about who is going to replace Jack Dorsey. And by the end of the day, the stock just goes down and down and down. And the stock ends up finishing at the end of the day, once it's now been announced that Parag, the CTO at Twitter, is going to be the CEO, stock ends up finishing like 2 or 3% down. So it started at over like 10, 11% up in the morning to then finishing down 2 or 3%, basically at almost a 15% swing on the stock by the news that who is actually going to replace Jack is actually the current CTO. Why would investors not be impressed about the current CTO becoming the CEO? Oh, that's right. Maybe because he is like the main reason that the product and the user growth is not performing, right? Like this is the CTO. And he's been there literally his whole career. Jack raves about him in his letter, raving, Parag. Look at Parag. The board ran a rigorous process considering all options and unanimously appointed Parag. What that really means is no good executive wanted to run Twitter and come in from the outside. Why? Because this thing is an absolute basket case. This thing is an abysmally run company with a horrible management team. You'd have to gut the whole thing, and you got to jumpstart growth from a dead start. Not an easy task to do. That means no good manager, no good tech executive said, yeah, let me go run Twitter. That means they basically had no good options. That's what that means. He's been my choice for some time, given how deeply he understands the company and its needs. He's Jack's choice, certainly not Elliott Management's choice. Parag has been behind every critical decision that helped turn this company around. I don't really think they've been turned around. That's definitely up for debate. Farther down in the note, Parag started here as an engineer who cared deeply about our work, and now he's our CEO. So, he's risen up through the ranks at Twitter. Exactly why he's the exact opposite leader that the company needs. You need someone from the outside to shake things up, to change the culture, to change how they build product, to change how they approach content, and how they've become so censor friendly on the content censorship that they've scared away their users, including banning their most popular user. Yes, the former president. Horrible strategic business decision on their part. Not only have they done that, but they've continued to double down on being a tech censor, Orwellian run kind of thought policing type of company. Yes, let's bring in the guy, the symptom for where we are today and make him the leader. Yeah, great idea. Not. But before I get to that, let's go to the other point here. Second point. The second is Brett Taylor agreeing to become our board chair. I asked Brett to join our board, and Brett is, at the time of this writing, this thing coming out now on Monday, Brett Taylor was the COO at Salesforce. He was a co-COO at Salesforce. At the time of Jack Dorsey announcing him stepping down and Brett Taylor becoming the chair of the board at Twitter. Now, Brett Taylor has just been appointed co-CEO of Salesforce. All in the same past few days. Some people thought that Brett Taylor was going to become CEO of Salesforce, not co-CEO. Small little tangent, which is that Mark Benioff has had a co-CEO in the past. The guy only lasted 2 years. Then Mark Benioff kicked him out because they clashed. And so now Brett Taylor, some have kind of viewed this to say, well, if he doesn't become CEO, he can kind of use Twitter as a hedge if he wants to become Twitter CEO. Anyway, he's now co-CEO of Salesforce, all in just these past few days. Jack stepped down on Monday, the 29th. Then on Tuesday, the 30th, this news was announced about Brett Taylor becoming co-CEO, which means the guy's going to have even less time. And I don't think this is as much of a hedge anymore for Brett to be, go from co-CEO of Salesforce to actually be like CEO of Twitter. If he was co-CEO, COO of Salesforce and then didn't get the Salesforce CEO or co-CEO job, okay, maybe he becomes CEO of Twitter because he wants to be CEO. But so I don't even see that one as being likely anymore. If some people were like, oh, well, if Parag sucks, maybe Brett could become CEO of Twitter. Well, that backup plan just got shot to smithereens. So on day 2, or first day kind of officially as Parag being CEO, then he comes out with this wonderful idea. That's my sarcasm. Twitter bans sharing of private people's photos, videos without consent. Social media platform says it will remove private media when it is reported by a person depicted or authorized representative. And basically what everyone is saying is basically this is just a cop-out so that Twitter can be more Orwellian, not less. Twitter can be even more of a thought police, not less, right? This is basically going to give Twitter carte blanche authority to decide when to take down content and when not to take down content. And, now, anyway, they have basically any reason to do it, even though it didn't matter in the past why they would do it or not. But now, even more so, they can do whatever they want with the content. They can censor it. They can edit it. They can modify it. And they're just really doubling down on this position of being a content censor and thought police as opposed to embodying the actual principles of platform, which is to enable the sharing of information and creativity and freedom of thought and expression, which they clearly do not believe in. I thought Jack was bad. This guy might actually be worse. Hard to even imagine that. But I actually think he just promoted the guy who's worse. Because on his first day, he actually does exactly the thing and goes in the exact direction they shouldn't have gone. He doubles down on the exact thing, which is hurting their growth, like explicitly hurting their growth. It's just crazy. Hi, I'm Alex. Thanks for watching the show. Make sure to hit that subscribe button, but even better, make sure to follow us on Odyssey, follow us on Rumble, and text us 203-646-5159. Text the word Monopoly. You'll be subscribed. You'll get updates about when we're going live, our latest videos, and we'll send you even a little goodie bag. And in the event that we all get banned from big tech, we'll still be connected.